Over the last couple of days, I've been receiving several phone calls from listing agents asking me what they can do to get their buyers out of their contract. In one instance, the seller was made aware of the fact that the buyer was not cooperating with the bank to get final approval for financing, so chances were they weren't going to have the money to close. In the second instance, the buyer's agent disclosed to the sellers that he had not heard from his buyer in a month, so he was not able to say whether they intended to close or not. In both of these instances, the listing agent was trying their best not to waste more time with the house off the market. The problem was, in both cases, the listing agent sent a notice to the buyer's agent that they wished to cancel the contract. This is not something I would recommend. Even if the sellers are certain the deal will not close by the set date, they must remember that the parties have contracted until the closing date to perform under the contract. If they are unable to perform at that point in time, then the sellers have the right to seek one of two remedies. The first is enforce specific performance or any other legal remedy available under the contract. And the second is to terminate the contract and receive the earnest money as damages. These options do not become available to the seller until the buyer has defaulted. The buyer has until the closing date to perform until they will be considered in default. If the seller sends notice to cancel the contract before the closing date, then they are indicated they intend to breach the contract first. If it is found that the sellers did breach, then under the contract, the buyers may be entitled to the earnest money. For this reason, it's important to wait and make sure the buyers actually default. After all, even though you might not think it likely, there is still a chance they could come up with the money to close the deal. As a seller, it has to be frustrating knowing they have to sit around and wait until closing has come and gone before they can terminate a contract. But doing anything else could be setting themselves up for adverse consequences. A way to prevent such a long wait is to negotiate a reasonable amount of time for a closing date. Let your sellers know that they will be committed to the contract until that time. Lastly, if closing has come and gone and the buyers have failed to perform, be sure to immediately give written and oral notice that you are exercising the right to terminate the contract. There's no form provided by TAR for this purpose, so make sure to include in your notice the date and time of delivery so everything can be clear. Thanks for watching, and email me at communications@sabor.com with any other questions you may have.